right, and we are live. Welcome everybody to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And today I have the privilege of chatting with someone I've become a little bit of a friend with. Their name is Courtney. You guys know her as Godless Mom. She does have a blog on Atheist, which is very good. I have yet to read your latest one, but I saw you post about it, so I have yet to read that. But also, the one I read, I think a little bit earlier, was the one where you were saying, what if your kids wanted to know about religion and stuff like that? What would you do, kind of thing, which was a really interesting article. I very much enjoyed that. And if you guys, I have a link to all her stuff down below in the chat, in the description box down below. Her Twitter, her YouTube channel, and her blog on Patheos. So you guys can check that out. It's definitely worthwhile. Welcome, everybody that just joined us. So basically, Courtney, what I do here is I like to talk to people about how they left religion, why they did, like what, you go back to as far as you can remember, the thing that you kind of started going, you know what, this is fucking bullshit. And then the steps and dominoes fell, blah, blah, blah. And to becoming the atheist activist that you are today. And I love the picture of Christopher Hitchens on the wall in the background. I use one of his. More. Yeah, there's more. Oh, you got Dennett. Wow, look at that. It's the Four Horsemen, for crying out loud.
And Ricky Gervais.
And yeah, of course. His show was great, that one he had there on Netflix. Oh, my goodness. I better turn the volume down on my phone because it gets a little crazy. And then David Worley will show up here and he'll start posting mushrooms all over the place because I have Nintendo sound effects for Mario. So
oh, cool.
Yeah, it's like the coin and the mushroom, and it's like he starts posting pictures in there. So
mine is Star Trek.
Oh, sweet. Actually, the one we just heard was Star Trek. That sort of a thingy. But anyways, you take it away. You start at the beginning, and I'll jump in with something stupid to say every once in a while. So,
well, I mean, my deconversion story doesn't really exist in that I was never religious, but I mean, I grew up close to where you are in Richmond, BC, which is where
I grew up in Richmond too.
I grew up in
South Arm Park.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I used to have my birthday parties there at the pools, or the
pool,
slide.
Yeah.
I grew up in Steveston, in the little fishing village there. And
you ever hang out at Kobe's?
Was that the arcade?
It was, the arcade pool.
Yeah, I used to go there.
I spent many hours in that place.
Yeah. We spent a long time just every day just riding around Steveston, and we knew everybody. It is so different now. Different now.
Yeah, big time. It's like yuppie town now.
Yeah, it's like all spas and Starbucks and just it's unrecognizable. It used to be this sweet little town.
Yeah, it was, and great restaurants like Dave's Fish and Chips, obviously. But and Pajo's. Back in the day, you could go right down on the dock and get fresh fish right from the ocean, and they'd bread it and fry that fucking shit up and feed it to you with some fries. It was awesome. I got so fat as a kid being there.
Me too. Actually, my parents had a restaurant in Steveston. It was called the Kookaburra Cafe.
Yes, I worked there.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's messed up. So you worked for my dad?
Probably. Oh. Yeah. Briefly. And I also worked at the Dockside Cafe, and I worked all kinds of shit down there. That's hilarious, crazy. Courtney.
What a small world. Yeah, totally. They owned that restaurant, and the landlord screwed them over, so it got closed after a year. But that's why I got fat. So I used to go and hang out there because my mom, she was a teacher, and after school, she would go straight there and waitress and serve. And so I would go after school and meet her there, and I'd take my friends and show off for how I could go behind the counter and get my own pop and stuff like that. So I was drinking a lot of pop and just eating a lot of French fries because they had the best French fries there. And hot dogs. Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Hot dogs are like essential food.
Yeah.
Especially if you're camping, man. Or bring out those great big freaking kosher foot-long bastards. Oh, those things are so good.
Yeah.
Although I don't know why they need to be kosher. I don't even care. I was raised Jewish, so everything was fucking kosher back in the day, right? So.
Oh really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I actually growing up, I knew more Jewish people than Christian people.
There was quite a few in Richmond.
Yeah. I had a lot of friends who went to the synagogue and had bar mitzvahs and
Beth Tikva.
It was.
Yeah, I think it was at Williams and Railway, somewhere around there. There's one there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I went to Hebrew school there and pissed the fuck off my teachers all the time, asking questions. Oh, yeah. This Goliath guy can't be fucking real. Come on.
Yeah, a lot of my friends went to that private Jewish school in Vancouver. I forget what it's called.
Oh, Talmud Torah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's where my little nephews and nieces went too. Because my sister, she married a guy that wanted to be a rabbi, so it was like, oh great. And then I go there for like Passover dinner, and they're reading through the Haggadah, which is the book that they tells the whole Exodus story, which never fucking happened. And then they're going through the story, and I'm rolling my eyes the entire time, and my sister's giving me this look like, don't you fucking do that. Like I can't help it.
I didn't really understand any of it. I did not. That for me, like growing up, most of the people I knew were not religious. Mm-hmm. I don't know about you, but like we were surrounding me, there was nobody really that. There were a few people who would like go to church or synagogue, but they didn't really take it seriously. It was just like, oh, my mom's taking me, and then they'd come back, and that was it. It was nothing. And then I had a friend who she was, I can't remember, maybe she was from Hong Kong, mm-hmm. and she was Buddhist. So her family was Buddhist. Cool. And that's about it. Like as I've said a few times in my blog, but I did not understand what it was that people were doing until I was like 11 or 12. Like I didn't get it. People would say God, and I didn't know what they meant because my parents are just like, religion doesn't even register on their dashboard, right? Like it's just not, it's a non-thing in our family, and like it goes back generations that we've just been atheists, but not like, I'm the first one who's outspoken about it. Okay. My dad would crack jokes about it, at home, would crack a lot of jokes about it. He still does. But
I got to meet your dad, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you'd love him.
We could swap dad jokes. Yeah. And I'm not even a dad really, but at least not that I know of anyways. But
yeah, it was weird growing up because like it was like I was just unaware of how big religion was and what it actually was. Like I think the most exposure I got as a kid was when people would talk about heaven, when somebody would die and they would say like that they're going to be in heaven. You're going to see them some other time,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll see them again later. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
this isn't good. This isn't goodbye. This is just see you later.
Yeah. We get that a lot too. Right? But.
Yeah. I think even my parents told me that, but I don't like it. Like, I don't think they said it because they wanted me to believe in heaven or God or anything like that. I think they just said it because they wanted me to feel better.
Yeah, like a comfort method type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because neither of them believed in that. Well, I don't know. My mom might question it, but my dad doesn't believe in it. And so I didn't understand. Like people would say, I prayed last night. I don't know what that means.
And how'd that work out for you? Yeah.
I remember, like, I went to a preschool at that church on Steveston Highway and Gilbert. Mm-hmm. Gilbert or number 3?
It was number 3 road, the little tiny one.
Yeah, and it had the little chapel off to the side. I went to preschool in that, and it was.
We should smoke dope there.
I think I probably did too. I definitely did at the Catholic Church on Gary Street. But I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't get it. Nobody told me what a church was. It just seemed to me like it was some kind of multi-use building, right? Like a community center.
Which essentially it kind of was.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what most of the churches are here where I live now. Like, you know, we just use them for events and stuff. But
have you seen the where you live there? You know that building that's like all stone, like mason stone? It's kind of rounded.
Oh, yeah.
That was my grandfather built that building.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
At least that's what my folks tell me anyways. I don't know. Because that's my biological family, right? The one, my bio dad that lives in Summerland there, whom I met in 2000. So.
Yeah. Oh, you just met him in 2000. Wow.
Yeah. I was adopted. So, yep.
Okay. Cool. Did you have to like search him down or?
They found me. It's actually
cool.
It was back in, I think it was about July or early August of 2000. So it's literally been 19 years since I've known them. Unfortunately, my biological mother and one of my sisters are both passed on. One was killed. I don't know if you remember that motorcycle accident up on 97, just before the Vancouver turnoff.
Like the recent one?
Yeah, that was like in 2016.
Oh, okay.
That was my sister. She was killed there. Yeah, and it was. I was pretty upset about that for quite some time.
Yeah, no doubt.
Anyway, and my mom had previously passed away from an embolism, and when they were down in Yuma, because they were snowbirds, right? They'd go down to Yuma, and she passed away down there. But anyways, I still got my biological dad and one of my other sisters, and of course, a plethora of nieces and nephews.
Oh, that's cool.
And now they're all having kids, so I'm like great Uncle Neil now, and I'm like, I don't know how great I am, but how old are you? Here, have a beer. That kind of thing. Right? I'm such a bad influence, but anyway, there is a question I wanted to ask you from Mark Caesar. Actually,
okay.
Could you ask Courtney whether she felt Australia was mostly devoid of religion when she was there, or here, because he's from Australia?
Well, the first time I was there, I was 8. I lived there when I was 8 and 9, and then I lived there again when I was 15. I think it was 14, and then I turned 15 there. The first time I didn't notice any religion at all.
Okay.
And that was in Adelaide. I lived in Adelaide, and but I was also 8, so like
memories
it's
are
just
sketchy.
it's not really playground talk. So. But in Perth, when I lived in Perth, it was a little bit different. I had friends who were religious, and a lot of them were Catholic. There was a Catholic school around the corner from my house, and I was in this gifted program at the school that I was in, and it wasn't because I was gifted. It was because I was a year ahead, because I went to school. Our school systems are different. So I tested ahead of them. So I was in the gifted program.
Well, we'll say you were gifted compared to them.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nacha, if you're listening.
And some of the kids in that program were religious. And I remember having my birthday and inviting some of them to go see Batman. I think it was the one with Michael Keaton. I can't remember though.
The original one.
So long ago.
89, right?
Very old. Yeah. No, this was 92.
Oh, okay. So it would have been, I guess, the Danny DeVito one.
Yeah.
Which is the second one it was also Keaton.
So. Yes, that's the one. And I invited my friends, and they were not allowed to go because it was too violent.
What?
We were 15 years old, but anyways. I ended up going with my brother, who was 9. And had a good time. But I remember they were a fair bit more religious in Perth than in Adelaide, and definitely more religious in Perth than in Richmond. I mean, like I said, I had a lot of Jewish friends in Richmond, and then as the years went on, a lot of your friends end up being Asian in Richmond, and a lot of them were Buddhists and or Sikh, and so not a whole lot of Christians where I grew up. There's a lot around here now, though.
Well, my best friend was a Christian when I was growing up there, and I used to go over to his place for Christmas all the time. Mm-hmm. And they weren't like religious, but I'd always get a little something from Santa. Right? Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, really? From Santa? Is that right? Yeah, it was always something cheap, stupid, just to make me feel like I was like not left out, when everyone else was opening up their presents and stuff. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so they did that.
Yeah, we did that with some of my Jewish friends too. We'd invite them over for the fun and the activities and stuff, and then I'd go and join in with some of their Hanukkah stuff too. So. Oh,
did you ever have potato latkes?
Yes.
Oh my God, those are so good.
I know. It's just straight up carbs. Carbs are my life. So.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, whenever I go to Timmy's and I get like breakfast at Timmy's on the weekends, if I don't come home with extra little hash brown patty thingies that they give you for my roommate, I'm a dead man. So I have to bring them home so she won't kill me, basically. She has a knife collection, so I'm not going to argue with her.
Okay. Yeah, I actually made them once, I believe.
Did you?
Yes. Yeah, awesome. I made them with I don't know if you read the story about my friend who passed, but I made them with her one time. She was such a good cook, and she never cooked, but
wow.
Yeah. I
did you ever get a chance to have any matzo ball soup?
I have not tried that yet. No.
Oh my goodness.
Is it good?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because they make again, it's all carbs, right? It's just this little ball made out of matzah and like an egg mix with it, right? And then they put it in the chicken soup. And my aunt made like phenomenal matzo ball soup. And if she was still with us, I would definitely bring some with me to Summerland the next time I'm out there. But she is no longer with us. Latkes, what's this? Oh my God, latkes with sour cream, amazing. Yes, of course, Tony. Yes, sour cream. And something else that people put on them quite often is applesauce with the sour cream. Yeah, and you mix it all up with the sour cream, and it's yummy. But anyways, lots of ketchup. You don't put ketchup on latkes. What's wrong with you? I guess you could, I suppose. It would be just like putting it on French fries, I guess. Yeah,
we don't do much of that around here now because it's so hot these days.
Yeah.
Although in the evening, you can feel that autumn crispiness coming in. It's nice.
On my way to work this morning, it's starting to do that fog thing because I have to be at work at 5, right? So I'm going down and you can see the fog anywhere where there's open space, it's foggy now. Yeah. So fall's coming, except for you guys down in down under. You guys have summer coming.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I often wondered, is it true that your toilets flush the other way? Because you hear that all the time.
Yeah, I you know what? I don't remember. I wish I had paid attention. You should ask Mr. Oz Atheist.
Yeah. He's not in there, but Mark's in there. He's Australian, so let us know, Mark, if the toilets flush the other way. This way, I guess, or no. See, it looks backwards.
I can't even think of which way ours.
Ours go clockwise, so it would be counterclockwise.
Okay.
Of course, doing it on the screen, it looks like I'm going the other way. So this would be clockwise on the screen. This would be counterclockwise.
Yeah, there you go.
It's weird.
Yeah. No, Australia was cool, though.
You lived there twice?
Yeah, twice. And my mom was a teacher in Richmond. She taught mostly at Ferris Elementary.
Oh, yeah.
And she was part of the exchange program. So we would sign up and say, okay, we're ready to go and live somewhere. And they'd find us an exchange partner somewhere else in the world. And we'd go and live in their house for a year. And they'd come and live in our house for a year. And they'd take my mom's job and my mom would take their job. And so we did that twice, once in Adelaide and once in Perth. And the cool thing about it is when you're flying that far, back then, you had to go through a travel agent, right? And the travel agent would give you crazy deals on like all these stops along the way. So I got to explore Southeast Asia and the South Pacific and just
cool,
really cool places. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm totally jealous now. I don't have Nightbot, you guys, so cut it out. They're trying to, the exclamation mark T, exclamation mark beer, exclamation mark whatever to trigger Nightbot, but I don't have Nightbot.
I don't know what Nightbot is.
It's like it's an auto posting thing, which will post links or whatever you want it to do. Like if you go question or not question, I'll come out and say that on my friend David Worley's channel, he does that all the time. And yesterday, I think we got up to $25. So $25 we're giving, that kind of thing. He's a good guy. If you ever get a chance to have an interview with him, I would highly recommend it. But he's across the pond, so you guys kind of have to organize it so that the time thingy will work.
Yeah, that's like the biggest issue with Donovan and I when we're doing our podcast is just try. Like, there's literally just an hour window every week that we can get it done
in. You're talking about your show.
Yeah, the Common Heathens with Mr. Oz Atheist, because he's in Melbourne, and so we have to do it his Saturday morning, which is my Friday afternoon. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah, really that's what I have to do the same thing when I interview people from Australia as well.
Yeah.
Mind you, I haven't interviewed Mark yet. Mark, you up for it? You should let me know, brother. I'd have you on here for sure. I have no idea what these guys are talking about in the chat now. It's gone crazy. It's gone crazy. Guys, post any questions that you have. Just use the @ signal with my name, and I can ask Courtney for you. Because Courtney doesn't really have a deconversion story. She's sort of always been an atheist, but because I've wanted to kind of have her on here anyways, just for the hell of it, because we live in the same area, and we will eventually hang out together and drink copious amounts of beer and eat. What was it you were going to make?
Schnitzel.
That's right, schnitzel.
After pounding it out with my face.
That's right, dude. Oh my god, I cracked up so bad. I read it the first time on like our first break or whatever, and people are like, "Why are you laughing?" I go, "It's a face to the schnitzel joke. You guys won't get it." Awesome. Mark said he'd be up for it. That's great, dude. I'll have you on for sure. You have a deconversion story, correct? He'll get that in a minute. It's a little bit of a time delay. So anyway,
I did, eventually figure out what all this religion was about, though, obviously. And even though I was never religious, I did, like, when you're growing up, you question things and you're wondering about things and stuff like that. And so I ended up just reading a ton about religion. And then I had my parents, when I moved out of the house, they had all these empty rooms. Me and my brother moved out, and so they started hosting homestays from China and Taiwan and Hong Kong and all that stuff. And so whenever I'd go over to their house, we'd be hanging out with all these students from around the world, and a lot of them ended up being from all kinds of different religions and stuff. And they had this one guy staying with them who we ended up being really, really good friends, and he was from Taiwan. And when he first moved to Richmond, he was a Buddhist, and then he converted while he was in Richmond to Christianity. And wow. I remember, like, before he became Christian, he took me to a Buddhist temple and like took me through the whole thing, and
the one on Steveston
and stuff. No, actually, it's where TNT is at 3 and number 3 Road End. It's near the Radisson Hotel. I don't know if it's still the Radisson. I haven't been there in a long time.
I think it is.
And TNT is in there.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I know exactly where you're talking about.
So if you go in there, there's a whole shopping center, and on the top floor is a Buddhist temple. And I had no idea. And he took me up there, and we did the whole lighting the incense thing. And then this lady like came out of nowhere and was just being real pushy about Buddhist. I never figured Buddhist people to be like that until that day, but she was quite pushy. And then afterwards he took me to his church and gave me a Bible, which I still have somewhere around here. And through all of this stuff, I ended up just becoming super fascinated with religion. And
me too. I got quite a few books on the world religions in the other room on my bookshelf there. But it's some of them like Jainism. I always thought was, if I had to choose, if somebody had me at gunpoint and I had to choose a belief system, we'll say, because I would probably choose Jainism because it's it's the most docile one of all of them. Yeah. Right. Oh, don't step on that ant. That kind of thing, right? So,
but Hemant Mehta was a Jain. Before.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was before he left religion.
How is it I didn't know that? I thought he was a Muslim for whatever reason.
No, he was a Jain, and he.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess it seems like the easiest and the most.
It's most laid back,
compassionate. But it's still religion.
Well, there's a shit ton of woo that goes with it. Like a lot of the Eastern belief systems, right, where they have the whole chi thing and feng shui, and it's like, guys, that's not real. I have a friend that does Reiki, and I'm like, you're ripping people off. What are you doing?
I know.
It's like, and she doesn't talk to me anymore. So,
well, that's like my mom. she's all into this alternative. I mean, you've been to Summerland, right?
Yep.
You know what the women are like here.
Yeah, some of them,
I am a lone ranger in Summerland. I am the one that stands out because, I mean, oh gosh, it's just you have to hold your breath, and you have to just I have to just continually tell myself in my head, do not roll your eyes, do not roll your eyes, because they just are they believe in some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah.
When we were looking for a house to buy, I don't know where, I think it was at a dog park. I came across this lady, and we ended up talking about our dogs and stuff, and she told me that it was we found out that we were both looking to buy a house, and she said she was talking about how hard it was at the time. It's not anymore, but, and she said that every night in her living room, her and her family would gather in a circle and create an energy ball.
What?
I didn't understand it. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, but it's some kind of energy ball, and it was going to attract the right house to them. And I was just you know what? It's a small town, so you can't I can't just be oh my God, and walk away, right? And it's gonna be all over Facebook the next day.
Yeah, right.
I have to just be yes. That sounds perfectly reasonable.
Oh man. See, I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be. I'd be like, oh shit. Sorry, excuse me. Which is exactly what I did when I heard a couple of ladies sitting outside of Nestor's Market there in Summerland. Yeah. And they're going on about crystal healing. And I'm walking out, I overheard it, and I'm oh shit. And they're excuse me? I'm you heard me. And I just walked away, grabbed some beer from the beer store.
And the essential oils is the big thing right now. Oh. It doesn't bother me if, I have a diffuser, but that's because I like the smell, right? It makes my house smell nice, and I got it for free. So
yeah, I mean, it's good for that, right?
Yeah, it smells beautiful, and it's if you have a cold and you put eucalyptus in there, it can clear your nose, but it's not a cure for anything.
No,
and
no. It's like using a Vicks inhaler. It's just the diffuser style.
Yeah, it's. I don't, you know what? These people, they're talking to me about all these things that it cures. And there was one person that I know, I'm not going to say who, but one person that I know was using some oils, essential oils. It was, I can't remember which oil it was, but it was some oil, and she was using it on her skin to cure something, and ended up giving herself chemical burns. Because
Sounds
some
like
of
tea
these
tree
oils, some of these oils, I think it was tea tree oil. Some of these oils are serious business. Like you can't just put it on your skin. And so chemical burns, and then it ended up getting infected, and she was treating it with coconut oil. It was just unbelievable. Yeah. And we have naturopathic doctors here in town, like doctors in town, and people are always, I can't handle it. I can't handle it.
You walk away. That's all you can do. Smile and wave, and then walk away.
Yeah, I'm just like, sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. They still have that little crystal shop there. Where the fuck was it there? It was a friend of my sister's. This is going back a few years, and I think it was her house, and she used to have the front living room was all set up like a little storefront, and she had some crystal stuff there.
Was that over by the pool?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's still there.
Okay.
Yeah,
that lady, when she took me in there, and I was like, because I like crystals, and I think they're pretty and they look good, and I still have a little amethyst pyramid shaped one, and they look neat, and but they don't do as they're claimed to do. But anyway, my sister was kind of into that stuff, and she took me there, and I went along for the hell of it. And this lady's just going on about you use this crystal to direct this kind of energy, and I'm like, what kind of energy? Like, did you measure this with something? Like, do you know that it's there? Like, what's going on? And my sister's giving me this look like, stop it. Like, hey man, I'm just an inquiring mind. I want to know. So
that happened to me recently, because I went to go buy my mom something for her birthday, and she's into all this woo stuff. And she was like, her latest thing is it's this kind of stone that supposedly deflects radiation from cell phone signals and stuff like that. And
what?
Yeah. So I went to this shop, and I asked if they had anything with this stone, and it was in Penticton.
Yeah.
And I asked if they had anything. They had this really pretty bracelet, so I thought, well, I'll buy it for her. I don't believe it does what it says it does, but it's pretty. So I bought her this bracelet, and then I was walking by all these essential oils, which of course my mom is really into those too. And so I thought, you know what? I feel like I need a laugh today. So I'm going to ask what do these things do? And so she goes into this big spiel about how, like, this one particular essential oil was super rare, and it keeps like spirits from entering your home. And she's like, how like if you sprinkle salt on like your doorstep, that evil spirits won't cross into your home. And I'm like,
salt thing. Yeah.
I do not know that, but sure.
I'll put it to the test.
She's like, yeah, that's what this essential oil will do if you put it in your diffuser. Like any spirits with bad intentions will stay away.
Damn malicious spirits.
Oh God, I was trying so hard not to laugh, and I was with my husband John in there, and we left the store, and I just cracked up. And of course, he's like, what are you laughing about? Because he had completely tuned her out.
Mark, I'm not sure that would be a good thing to buy your mom. He goes, Courtney's mom was into the woo things. Maybe she should have bought her the Kama Sutra. Mark, that's not actually really woo based. It's more
not woo based. It's more flexibility based.
Yes, it's more about sexual gymnastics, we'll say. But I don't know if you want to be buying like I could never picture myself buying my mom the camera. Here, Mom, it's for you and your new boyfriend. What? No. Mom, let's go for dinner. That's about as far as it goes for me.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'll take you out for dinner.
Your silly radiation stones.
Yeah. Tony was saying the best way to deflect radiation on a cell phone is just put plastic in. I'm like, yeah, that would work.
Oh, she's got like...
Until it melts to plastic, Tony.
She used to, I guess, somewhere on the internet, someone has suggested that this design, if you print it out and like put it in your cell phone case, that it'll deflect all of the radiation coming off of your phone. I'm sure a piece of paper with a design on it ought to do that. She once snuck one into my cell case. Get out, seriously? I mean, her heart's in the right place. She's just trying to protect me from the evil spirits in my phone, right? So. The damn evil radiated spirits. Come on. I'm sorry, Mom, if you're watching this. Well, I haven't seen Courtney's mom in there anywhere yet, so we're good. See, I can actually see the chat on my side, right? And I also have it here for quick replies if I need to do one. Oh, cool. And that way, because in the chat on StreamYard, you can't see who your moderators are, but I can through the YouTube app. I think it's time for me to freshen up my beverage because this one's pretty much toast. What are you drinking? These were on sale, so I got the Caribou Blonde Ale. Not the greatest, but they're okay. They're better than the rest of them. For the cheaper beers anyways. But usually I like to buy the craft beers, which is why when I replied to you about the schnitzel, it's like, all right, you make the schnitzel and I'm coming over with like 15 craft beers or something, right? Some good stuff. Man, I tell you, when I was at the Faithless Forum, Aaron Raw was giving me these Texas craft beers that were like 17% alcohol. Oh, wow. And one of them, things big in Texas. Oh yeah. There's no little shit in Texas. It's all big. No. And one of them was actually made with habaneros. Oh wow! Yeah, and it was it spicy to drink? When you're drinking it, it's not so bad, but it gives you that little bit of a fire kick at the end of your when you take a couple of big swigs. You're like, wow, that's pretty fucking tasty, actually. And then all of a sudden, you sit back, you swallow, and you're like, ooh, it's got a bit of a kick afterwards. But it's not to the point where you're like, oh, I can't drink this. So it was actually pretty nice. That's cool. I'd never had beer made with habanero until that day. Yeah, I didn't even know you could. Did you ever watch Letterkenny? Yeah, I do. From time to time. You know the beer that they drink, Puppers? Yes. Is it real? Yeah, apparently it's real. We got one in Alberta. My cousin bought me one in Alberta. And it's actually still in my fridge. I haven't drank it yet. What are you waiting for? I know. A beer review like my friend Hops Watch. Yeah, I'll post it on Instagram. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that one. But I've been on the vodka soda kicks lately because we got a soda stream. Well, my husband got one for Father's Day, and we got a soda stream. So I've been and it's very refreshing when it's 34 degrees out. Yes, indeed. And it's great if your beer goes flat. You just go, you're back in the carbonation. And yes, Tony was saying he's drinking Shiner Bock when he was in, which is from Texas. Yes. And that's me and Jamie Boone were drinking Shiner Bock until we couldn't see anymore when I was down there. We're stumbling to the gas station to get a couple more cases too at something like 1 o'clock in the morning. So that was pretty funny. I just can't drink like that anymore. I used to be able to polish off, me and my husband together, polish off a 15 pack in one night. Oh yeah. I can't do it anymore. Well, I mean, I'm sure I could, but I probably wake up in the hospital. All right. Well, next time I'm up there and we're getting together and we're having a few, I promise I won't make you go all the distance to the whole 15 pack. Either that or I'll come with a friend who has an ambulance so we can get you to the hospital just in case. It's a long way to the hospital from here.
That's true. That's true, because you got to go to Penticton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the closest one, I think. I'm kind of surprised. They have a little walk-in clinic or something in there in Summerland, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Could have sworn I've seen one.
My friend is one of the doctors there.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Yeah.
You've got it.
He's from England. He was just this morning. He was explaining to me the whole kerfuffle that's going on in England right now with the suspension of Parliament and Brexit and all that stuff.
Yeah, David likes to talk about that quite a bit. Actually, the guy was telling you about the Worley podcast.
Yeah. It sounds pretty scary.
Yeah, they're dealing with a serious political shitstorm over there. That's for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit, I was going to say something. I forgot what it was. Oh, you're not late, Angie. You can show up to these things anytime. Yeah. Remember, YouTube keeps them on there, even when I'm done. And Inquisitive Quandary, thank you so much for doing shilling out all of Courtney's links and stuff like that for me during the interview. That's awesome. He's
yes, thank you.
My best moderator, that guy.
Oh yeah.
And guys, by the way,
important.
Yeah, absolutely, because you write brilliantly. Your stuff is great.
Thank you.
So I've recommended it multiple times to people. I said, and I kind of know her, sort of thing, right?
Moderators are important. Although
yes.
my links, it's fun to share my links, but the moderators are very important. I actually, right before I went to Alberta, I was like, the blog, my blog at Patheos, they use the Discus comment system, and recently we have just had like, I don't know who changed it, but like all these words now, like these, just even the word Islam it automatically flags comments. So you have to basically, if you have a post that's just got a really active comment section, you have to spend so much time there just moderating all the comments. And
it's like
so I had this guy, like I had a lot of people complaining because I can't keep up on my own. And so I had this guy offer to do it for me, and ever since then my comment section has been nice and cleaned up. And I love it. And he moderates it the way I like it, which is he doesn't delete anything unless it's like really bad, you know, because I like hearing what people have to say, even if they're going to be rude about it. I don't really care. Like, it doesn't bother me. It just doesn't bother me. And so yeah, now my comments are nice and clean, tidy.
There's always going to be those people anyways. But I'm very much against censorship. I mean, I'm all about freedom of speech. If you got something to say, even if it's shitty, you know, go ahead and say it. But you're going to hear from me if I disagree with what you're saying. That's for damn sure. And I'll come back and pound you into the ground or something.
Yeah, I just don't I don't understand why people let things bother them coming from strangers on the internet. I've never really understood that. You know, I've had some disagreements with people on the internet who I previously had a lot of respect for, and that can hurt a little bit. But it's like, I just don't understand why people would waste their time caring about what strangers think. It doesn't bother me.
Well, I mean, I don't get it either. But I mean, if it's something that's really, really shitty, like, I don't even know what you would consider. Like, if it's something that could end up harming somebody else, then I have issues, right?
That's different,
Right.
Yeah. Like, once I had someone comment, I think it might have been on my YouTube channel, but I had some guy comment on a video saying that my son was going to end up burning in hell, being slapped by 1,000 devil cocks. I was like,
what?
That's beautiful. Like, I know it's awful. It's an awful thing to say, but it's just, I don't give a shit what this guy thinks. And so
1,000
he didn't let him.
Devil cocks?
I don't even know where these people get this shit.
That blows me away. Like, I mean, I know these guys have fantastic imaginations. They have to believe that nonsense. But I mean, 1,000 devil cocks? Like,
like, does he mean there's 1,000 devils?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or does the devil have 1,000 cocks?
Maybe. Or he's a badminton player, and they're talking about shuttlecocks.
Yeah.
And he's going to pelt him with 1,000 of them. I don't know. That's just some crazy ass shit. That is.
Oh man, I've had some hilarious comments.
That guy needs a salt lamp. He needs to chill out with a salt lamp. It's funny because my sister had one of those. She had 2 of them, and I'm like, oh, she goes, oh, it releases positive ions into them. Positive ions. And you do know why these things are orangey, pinky colors, right? She goes, well, yeah, that's the kind of salt. And I said, you know why the salt is orange and pink? Well, no. I said, it's called rust. You're releasing rust into the air. Well, not really, but she goes, well, they look nice. I go, yeah, they do. I'll give you that. They look nice.
Yeah.
Just don't let your cats lick it like I see the one over there doing right now. It's eventually going to get some sort of rust poisoning or some shit. Would Dave's like, would 2,000 half ones do? I'm assuming he's meaning the devil cock.
The devil cocks.
Might be easier to handle, but we're talking about numbers here, David. I mean, come on. The 1,000's hard enough. 2,000? Well, we're talking, that's a little.
Yeah.
It's a little much, man. 2,000 little cocks. 2,000 micro devil cocks, or whatever that is. Man, I tell you,
it pisses them off when I laugh, though. Because they're waiting for me to, burst into tears, or it just pisses them off when I laugh.
Oh yeah. If they're what do you call it? Not don't get old, people. Their insults aren't working, and you're laughing at them. Yeah, that angers them like to the full tilt, man. They just go crazy.
Yeah.
100 kneels? I don't even know what that means, David. I don't even know what that means. Well, guys, does anyone have any questions that they'd like asked? Feel free to ask them in the chat. Just tag me so that I know that you're asking. How is that? That shit. Now I can't even remember what that was that I threw some like the money at that you built for the kids or whatever. This is going back a couple of years now. I'm pretty sure you did there was a place for kids to hang out.
Oh yeah, Sadie.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. They're doing good actually. We were toying with the idea of opening up another group for younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just not enough people right now. And I think that's the biggest hurdle now is just the time that it requires to run this thing. So, but they're still doing good. They still, meet every day, and the school year's starting soon, so they'll be meeting at lunch as well.
Awesome.
I think it's awesome that they have a place like that that's totally secular where kids can just go and hang out and be themselves and just
be kids.
Yeah, it's awesome. And she takes them to so many cool places like there's natural slides out in the back of Summerland. Where like a stream is coming down and the rock is so smooth you can like slide down it in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll take them there, and then they'll like float the channel, and they go on like big hikes, like serious hikes, and canoeing and all kinds of stuff. So
we found
cool.
a place like that in Lynn Valley, with the Lynn Canyon Bridge and stuff. You go over the bridge and you hike up a ways, and we found a couple of places where the rocks are like that, super smooth, and there's water, little bits, not like a waterfall, but a little bit of one. It can slide right down or jump off like a 20-foot cliff or something into the water. We used to do that all the time. I do have a couple questions. Of course, Josiah's got to ask this one every time. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
My favorite Ninja Turtle?
I know who mine is, but
I'm going to say Raphael, and I don't know why.
He's the ass kicker.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the big brute ass kicker. You got Leo, who's the leader. You got Donatello, who's pretty much the brains of the operation. You got Michelangelo, who's pretty much the skateboard joker, and you've got Raphael, who's like the asshole ass kicker.
Okay.
And Beach Price would like to know, does Courtney have a most shocking belief story that she has come across?
Belief story?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there have been so many. Like, I think that's like the biggest thing for me now, because like when I first started writing my blog, I just wanted to have fun. I just wanted to write, and I wanted to just have fun. A lot of my posts back then when I first started were just silly, and there's stuff that I would never write now because in just those 5 short years, things have changed quite a bit. There are things that you simply cannot say anymore. But over the years, like I've hit burnout so many times where I felt like I've said everything there is to say about not believing in a God, right? There's only so many times you can, argue with Pascal's wager, but the thing that keeps me going and has kept me going in those moments is the stories that I get from people who used to believe and who are struggling now. And most recently, I actually posted about this recently on my blog too. Most recently, I would say the story that it actually like made me tear up when I read it was from he's a monk in, I think it might have been South Carolina, but I can't remember now. And he's a monk, and he doesn't believe anymore. But his whole life, like his education, his friends, his career, everything is tied up in this. And he just is so lost and doesn't know what to do. And so, I don't know what to do. I just directed him to the Clergy Project, which...
Just going to say that.
Yeah. They do amazing things. And then I also told him to like see if he can join us on Twitter, because I know that that's helped a lot of other people. But it's hard. And that's just an American, right? Who, if he comes out as an atheist, it's going to be difficult, but he's still going to be able to live his life. And, he'll be able to be hired somewhere else and do something else eventually. But then you get the stories from like, I've mentioned this one quite a few times too. I got an email from a girl in Saudi Arabia who was gay and she was in a committed relationship with another girl, and they were both atheists, and they just lived every day in absolute terror that someone was going to figure it out. And if they did, they throw them off buildings there.
Yep.
And then, I was talking to her for a while, and with the help of some of the other activists in the community, I tried to find some resources for them. And then eventually the emails just stopped. And
wow, really?
Yeah. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know where they are. And
oh my goodness.
Like, I get a lot of stuff like that where it's just,
I've been hit
fall off the face of the earth.
I've been hit up by a couple of kids. Like one was in Egypt, another one was in Saudi Arabia, and they're looking for help to get the fuck out of there. And when they heard that I lived in Canada, that seems to be where they all kind of want to go. I got to go to Canada. Canada's pretty secular for the most part. We can not live in fear like we do here. And I'm still in contact with one. His name is Amin. And the other one, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but I haven't heard from her in quite some time. So I'm often kind of haunted by the fact that she could actually be dead, being an apostate.
Yeah.
She's from Saudi Arabia. The other fellow's from Egypt. So, but my friend Armin Navabi, you probably know. Yeah. He's the guy you can probably talk to if these folks need some sort of references of places to contact to help them out, because he's, being an ex-Muslim himself, he's got all those kind of links and leads that can help these folks. it's scary, and it's really sad that these people have to live in that kind of fear just because they don't believe something.
Yeah, and I feel like, every once in a while, I don't know about you, but for me on Twitter, every once in a while I'll get somebody who is an atheist but doesn't advertise it, as they like to say. And they'll say something along the lines of, I don't define myself by what I don't believe in. Because
which makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, but he's saying it to somebody he just met on the internet and has no idea how I define myself outside of Twitter. So ultimately, he's basically saying that Twitter is life, but I digress.
Twitter is life, man.
Oh, God.
I don't even Facebook anymore. Well, I do sometimes, but.
But, yeah, like, people, they say stuff like that, and my response is always, like, if you're an atheist and you know that there are 13 countries in the world where atheists, atheism is punishable by death, how is it that you're not talking about it? Like, how can you live with yourself not talking about it? I don't understand that. Because like I said, I've hit burnout 100 times since I started my blog, and I will not let myself stop, because it's like I can freely talk about it, and I have the ability to talk about it so much that people get sick of it, thereby making it mundane and normal. So if people stop killing for it, and that's ultimately what I'm trying to do. And I don't understand how other atheists who are totally okay with admitting that they're an atheist out in the open, I don't understand how they can't talk about it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But it's there was actually another shocking belief story to go along with that question again. There was this girl who wrote into me and told me that when she was a teenager, like, she grew up in some fundamentalist Christian household, and when she was a teenager, she started to be exposed to new things that she never had before, and she found Stephen King books, and she brought home a couple of Stephen King books. I can't remember. I think it was the Tommyknockers or something like that.
That's a good one.
And she was reading it, and she had to hide it, and her mom eventually found it and beat her with it.
What?
Yeah. I know.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I'm just like, these are and I get like at least 20 stories a week sent to me because of the series that I do on my blog. And I would say, like the vast majority of them are just, I was a Christian, then I questioned it, and then I left. But almost every week there's at least one that just destroys me. Like, well, and it happens in Canada, it happens in the US.
Yeah. I mean, right here in the Lower Mainland, we're fighting against, Trinity Western, out in Langley, that wants to teach creationism again over evolution. I'm like, what?
I had a friend who went there, and I worked with her in an addiction recovery facility. She was Seventh-day Adventist, and we were good friends, and she knew I was an atheist, and it didn't bother her until I started to write about it. Because I didn't announce it to the people that I knew in my real life. When I started to do that, I kind of kept it separate for a while. But I guess she figured it out, and she said something along the lines of not being able to stand for that, and so she like unfriended me on Facebook. It was Facebook official.
Facebook official. Everything's Facebook official now.
Yeah. So this is a certified counselor as well. And yeah, she was a graduate of Trinity Western.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Beach Prices pointed something out. I just noticed. Excuse me. Beer's kicking back on me.
Yep.
But Courtney helped the man in Nigeria, and now he heads up an atheist society.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
That was Mubarak. Actually, pretty proud of him. I mean,
I guess
he wrote to me. This was like, I don't know, I think it might have been like a few months into writing my blog, and he wrote to me on Twitter. He DM'd me one night. I remember it was summer because we were at the beach when I got the DM, and we were at Sanoka, and I got his DM, and it said that he had been beaten and drugged and locked up in a psychiatric hospital in the Kano state of Nigeria, which is Boko Haram territory. Mm-hmm. It's like 99.9% Muslim, and he
in the literal war zone.
Yeah, and his dad had ties to Boko Haram, and his mother had snuck in a phone for him, and that's how he was contacting me. And then he contacted some other people, and this was the first message I'd ever gotten from somebody in trouble because they're an atheist, and I just like kicked into high gear, and I like got these people together, and we organized a campaign that we then tweeted like crazy to like Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris, all those people, and they all retweeted it. Mm-hmm. And so it actually ended up crashing my website because I had so much traffic there. And then it was on like every major news outlet, and like one of the people who was in the group that was doing this organization was interviewed on BBC, and then eventually Mubarak was released. And it was like there was a strike at the hospital, and that's why he was released, but his father was going to put him in another psychiatric hospital and decided against it because of the international international and he ended up remaining free, and he moved down to the south of Nigeria, and now he is. Our original plan was like a year later we launched a campaign to try and get him to the States because he had been accepted to a school in Boston. Mm-hmm. And he already had a degree in like chemical engineering or something like that.
Oh, cool. Close to me.
Yeah, he's super smart, and his English is just like better than mine. And we ended up not being able to make the goal because it was quite a hefty price tag on getting him to the States.
Sure.
So we ended up not making the goal, and he had to stay, and now he is glad that he did because he's an activist, and he's helping other people like him. And
that's fantastic.
I mean, he's just amazing. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Do you still keep in touch with him?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you would. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He's on
that was a dumb
Twitter.
I'm prone to those once in a while. A couple more questions, and then I say we jump into the after party for a little bit, and you can say hello to a few of your devout fans. Okay, Julie LaVoice, who's a good friend of mine, would like to know what's the weirdest thing the godless mom believed as a kid, like a superstition or something along those lines.
I believed a lot of weird things.
Me too. I carried a lucky rabbit's foot, for fuck's sakes.
Well, I used to, okay, so, because I grew up with my mom, who I've already told you is, like,
essential.
Get along really well with Gwyneth Paltrow.
How do you know they're not already besties?
She raised me on the power of positive thinking, but it was like I think that has made me a very positive person, and that's like why
there's an element of truth to that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's why these trolls roll off my back, and I don't care and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just prefer to focus on the positives in life, but she took it to another level where it was like you could actually manipulate the outside world with your thoughts.
What?
I know. Like, she still believes this too. Like,
Wow.
She thinks that, and I'm going to admit it, it's quite weird. Everywhere she goes, she gets the best damn parking lot. And I always ask her, I'm like, how do you get the best parking lot every single time? She's like, I just will it. I just will it.
That must be what it is. Yeah, getting that rock star parking. I just will it into being. That's hysterical.
Yeah, but I used to kind of believe in parts of that, and I used to think that I could, if I just believed strong enough that something good was going to happen, it would just happen, right? And it was just bullshit.
Well,
I grew out of that pretty quick.
It is. I mean, if you're a positive thinker, and when you're interacting with people, they will pick up on that. And that is how it can actually work. Like, they'll say, oh, this guy, or this girl or this guy or this person is they're pretty positive. Like, I like this person. Right. Mm-hmm. And then good things can only come from that. So that's how you sort of put it into, for lack of a better term, a scientific way of doing it. It's just behaving in that fashion, and people pick up on that. And then they, and I've been pretty lucky with stuff like that sometimes, just for being that way. Being positive, interacting positively.
Yeah, right. And I think that it also helps with stress and anxiety, because I've spent my whole life hearing that I should focus on the positive. And so I'm really, really good at, when negative thoughts creep into my head, I can push them away, and I can just move my thoughts somewhere positive. And that helps me. Like I have a lot of anxiety runs through my family, like serious anxiety disorders. And I don't get that. I do feel anxiety. Oh, and I know that if I just went with it, I would be freaking the fuck out. But I have the ability to just stop it in its tracks. And
that's awesome. Energy. Yeah. That's what I do too. Oh, and one of my favorite people in the world just showed up in the chat. My buddy Duke Bonanza. Oh yeah. Okay, one more question, and then we'll jump into an after party. And guys, if you'd like to be involved in the after party, remember I can only have 4 more with Courtney and myself being involved. Because this isn't Google Hangouts where you could have 10 people, but 10 people tends to get a little crazy anyways.
Yeah, so I've been in those before.
Yeah. But the fact that we can have 6, it's a little bit more restrained, and we can actually control things a little bit better. But David Worley would like to know, before we close this out, because this is an important question. What's your favorite Ben and Jerry's flavor? I know mine.
Okay. This is going to be the most shocking fact about Godless Mom. I don't really like ice cream.
You heard it here first, people.
See, I don't like it. I like cake. I told you, carbs are life.
Carbs, that's right, carbs. Okay, all right, then let's take it to the next level then. What's the favorite cake?
My favorite cake is probably the cake that I bake for everybody's birthday. although on over the weekend it was my son's birthday, and he had a sleepover with a bunch of kids, and we made crepes for breakfast. And of course, they had been having sugar and crap all night.
God, crepes.
And so we had a ton of leftover crepes. We had a ton of leftover crepes, and
are they still?
So the next day, I made a crepe cake where I layered the crepes with whipped cream, and then I covered it with berries on the top, and it was so good.
Oh my God,
so delicious!
I have a food boner right now. All right, guys, there's no after party. I'm jumping in the car and I'm going up to the Okanagan. That's all there is to it. I need some of this.
It was so good.
Oh my God, if I showed up at my dad's doorstep right now, I'd be like, what the fuck? You got any beer?
Oh, it's the best time of year to be here too, because everybody else is leaving.
That's right.
When we get it to ourselves. It's funny because like all summer, it's just like whenever anybody drives like a jackass or anything like that, or there's no parking, we're always like, oh, go back to Vancouver.
No, don't send them down here. We got enough. We got enough. Mind you, where I live in Queensboro, right? We're like the very north tip where the river splits, right? The north and south arm of the Fraser. So, July 1st, I could walk out and see the fireworks and stuff right in my backyard, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. But mind you, I was up for the Canada Day fireworks in Penticton when they had them, right? A couple of days after the big. Did you go to the Rib Fest?
No, I avoid those things. I like to be at the beach, in the water, on the trails.
Okay, fair enough. But man, there's some good damn ribs, and have like a bunch of different ones. If I was hungry enough, I probably would have tried all of them. But
we went once, but I think I don't like the way it's run. I think that you should buy, like you should have to pay for your admission, then you get like a certain amount of tickets with that admission, or you get like a passport, and like you get to visit each rib stall, and they give you a little sample portion,
like a half rack or something.
Yeah, that's all included in your admission. Because when you go now, like the way that it's run now, it's like you don't get to try them all.
No.
And then if you buy some from one, it's like this huge amount, and it's just
it's
you don't
ridiculous.
get to try them all.
And then they give you like coleslaw. Like, don't give me coleslaw. I want more meat.
Yeah.
But what's going on with you? All right. Okay. Thanks, IQ, for whoring out all the links and stuff today. And it's nice to see you back in my chat again, Duke. You haven't been around for a while, but I know he's been busy. But anyway, there you go, guys. If you guys are into Nokasuchi, he's got a show on right now. If you want to go check that out, it's live. But we are going to do an after party. So, and Courtney has agreed to come in and hang out for a little bit. But we got to remember she's got a little one and a husband. So those are the people that actually matter. So she'll have to pay attention to them eventually. So we got, a little bit. I can probably go for about an hour. So if you guys want to come and hang out in the after party, let me know on Twitter and I'll send you a link. If you're a member of my Neil's Usual Suspects group, I'll post a link there, obviously, like I do every time. If you guys want to help me improve my channel, I have 2 ways you can do that right now until I kick in my Patreon at some point. I promised I wouldn't do it till I pass 1,000, but I'm getting there. I'm over 800 now, which is pretty cool, and that happened pretty quickly. I think it was Seth Anders, to be honest, but anyway. So I have an Amazon wish list, which has some stuff. And as I'm noticing today, my second pair of headphones is now biting the dust. Good thing I've got a third pair, but they're shitty. So I wouldn't mind like a decent pair of headphones for this. That would probably be the main one. And a new cord for my Yeti microphone, because I'm using a backup little foot-long cord, and it's not going to be enough when I get my arm for the microphone. So anyways, and also my PayPal, if you guys want to help out with the show, because as you know, like I always say, I dropped quite a bunch of money on this computer that I'm using now, because Alienware is not cheap, but it is damn good, and you can do so there as well. Thanks, you guys, for hanging out with us. I hope you guys had a good time. I know we did. A lot of laughs, a lot of cool stories. I know it wasn't really a deconversion story, but we did talk a little bit about beliefs and how they annoy the shit out of us. But anyways, well, some of the people that have them that do that anyways. But Courtney, man, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, man. I was looking forward to this for a long time. Being local people. Yeah, it was great. And
we're going to have to meet up sometime for sure.
Oh, it'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah. You also play music, don't you?
Well, I'm the singer. I'm the guy that hangs out with the other musicians. Right.
So my husband is a musician.
Is he?
And he has a little studio downstairs. Yes.
Oh shit! No way. We'll make some tunes or something when I'm there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and he loves like metal and rock and punk rock.
There you go.
And all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Oh no, Google! I'm not talking to you. Go away. How can I help you? Well, if you guys want, we got stuff on SoundCloud.
Oh yeah.
If you want to check it out, yeah, just look up.
Yeah, send it to me.
Yeah, I'll do that in the Twitter. I'll send you a message with the link to it, because there's some heavier stuff. There's some middle road stuff. There's some acoustic stuff. we're kind of like, we wanted to be one of those bands like that reflects more of our influences, like bands like Rush or Black Sabbath or Led Zeppelin, where it's not all like one sound. We have a variation of sounds, right? So we don't want to be like the next fucking Nickelback, where every song sounds the same from start to finish.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And we'll get into the after party fairly quickly. You know me, I like to go have my relief of the beer break and a quick cigarette, and then I jump into the after party. So give us about 8 minutes or so, and we'll jump into that, which gives you a chance to freshen up your beverage. Although I didn't see you drinking one, so I don't know. Oh, there! Oh, yes, that's right. It's all about the water. Okay. Well, Courtney, again, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We will definitely hang out the next time I'm up there. Mm-hmm. Definitely, because you've already got me a schnitzel. So the quickest way to my heart is through my stomach, like they always say. All right, guys. And as I always say at the end of these things, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.